Now, during his time in Belize, John established a company called Quorum X with a goal to develop antibiotics. In 2012, Belize's gang suppression unit raided this research facility, suspecting it to be meth instead. In the raid, the police took John's passport and several firearms. They also tragically shot and killed his dog, which I don't understand. Why do they have to go and kill the dog? John himself was briefly detained on charges related to drug manufacturing, though those charges were dropped. Reports indicated that when police arrived, John was found in bed with a 16-year-old girl, highlighting the increasingly volatile and controversial nature of his time in Belize. John was under the belief that this raid by police was politically motivated. He said that he refused to bribe from a local politician and was being targeted as a result. His interactions with the local police continued to grow more and more hostile, and this raid marked the beginning of a downward spiral with his relationship and the Belizean law enforcement. Here's a clip of him explaining how he does feel like this raid was the setup.
The reason that the government wanted to collect me was that after they had raided my property in 2012 in the jungle, shot my dog, abused me, destroyed $500,000 worth of my property over a bogus charge, I was pissed off. And so I donated to many secretaries within the government laptop computers, really nice ones, that were preloaded with viral spyware. Within a week, the entire government computer system was under my control. I was watching, monitoring, listening. I was looking for information that they had set me up for that raid. I didn't find that. I did find out that the Minister of National Defense was the largest drug trafficker in all of Central America. And the Minister of Immigration, the largest trafficker.
Now, even though he wasn't creating meth in this lab, he was still up to no good. Now, again, the company is Quorum X, and it looks like his business partner, Allison, made some really bad allegations, saying that John drugged and essayed her after she attempted to quit the company and leave Belize to go to the US. Here's a clip of Allison detailing what happened when she told John that she wanted out.
The conversation did not go as I expected.
Told him I had a headache, and he brought me, he went into the other room and he brought me 2 pills and a glass of orange juice. It tasted foul. I only have sort of flashes of recollection. He was standing over me naked. I grabbed my clothes. I don't even remember taking them off.
I don't know what to tell you except that I have emotional and physical scars from that experience.
Now, of course, John McAfee denies these allegations, claiming that they're part of a broader takedown. He argued that sources in the documentary had been financially incentivized to fabricate accusations. He provided a 4-page rebuttal to Fortune magazine. John claims that Allison was dismissed due to poor performance, suggesting that her allegations were driven by resentment rather than truth. Now, this is one of the most fascinating parts of this story. This is the murder that happened in Belize that John claims he's not a part of. So John had this neighbor named Gregory Fall, and they shared a strained and contentious relationship. Living only 3 doors apart, the two were frequently at odds, particularly over John's unleashed dogs, which Gregory found threatening as he passed on his way to the local beach bar. Tensions grew as John's dogs became more and more aggressive, and according to a witness, one even attacked Gregory on an occasion. Gregory openly expressed a desire to poison John's dogs, and he filed a complaint with local authorities saying that they're dangerous and that he's got all these security guards and it's just unnecessary. But not only did Gregory have to deal with John's dogs and security, but also his lifestyle and the disturbing things he was up to.
Greg was not happy with him, and he had had some issues with McAfee.
Keeney says her son Greg was disgusted by what McAfee had brought back from the jungle, that harem of women, the armed guards, and especially the swarm of dogs that constantly menaced passersby.
Now, the conflict came to a head in 2012, just a day before Gregory was found dead from a gunshot wound in his home. Several of John's dogs were discovered dead. John, deeply suspicious, believed that Gregory had poisoned them in retaliation. This tragic escalation added a darker layer to their tense relationship and would soon lead to John's flight from Belize. Now let's break down what happened to Gregory. Greg was found dead in his home next door to John's compound with a single gunshot wound to his head. Right away, prosecutors believed that John McAfee McAfee might have been involved in this case because he had long argued with his neighbors about the guard dogs. Now, to avoid detection, John sent out a double, a lookalike that he claimed as a decoy. And it looks like John's decoy worked because this decoy was arrested, so John was able to make it out of the country, fleeing from Belize to Guatemala. But then he was arrested and extradited and sent to the US, according to the Belize government. Here's a clip of John being interviewed before he was captured in Guatemala.
Trying to arrest me for coming into the country illegally. We know that this is merely a move to keep me from doing my press conference. If I had not left the hotel, you know what would happen tonight? They would have come in together with no one watching at 2 o'clock in the morning for some time. Trust me.
Now, after being detained in Guatemala, John went to extreme lengths to avoid being extradited to Belize. While in custody, John allegedly faked 2 heart attacks, a move he claimed was intended to prevent his deportation to Belize. But his ploy proved successful. Rather than being sent to Belize, he was sent home to Miami. Let's talk about how this man got away with faking a heart attack. John had a plan. He faked a heart attack. While he was rushed to the hospital, a news report showed him to be at death's door. He said it was to buy time for his attorney to file a series of appeals that ultimately prevented him from being deported to Belize. Which, I mean, he knows what he's doing. Clearly, he is a smart man. He's just a smart and dangerous man. I do question how he was able to do that. I mean, granted, I don't even want to pretend I'm having a heart attack because that scares me. You guys know I get medical anxiety. I will start spiraling and faint right here on camera if I start thinking about anything. I have a really bad burn right now on my arm. Ouch. Ouch. I can't even think about it or I will faint. But I wonder what he did. Like, and then just like acted stiff, or was he breathing hard? I mean, he must have been skilled at acting to get to this point.
He has recently admitted that he totally faked the heart attack. And the reason why he faked the heart attack is because he wanted to make sure that he could buy time for his attorney to make sure he doesn't get sent to Belize.
I'm both happy and pissed because I nailed it. When he said there was a heart attack and there was a headlines, I said in the morning meeting on the TV side, bullshit, I don't believe it.
Once John got back to the US, the drama did not stop there. John continued to make sensational claims, accusing the Belize Prime Minister of orchestrating a plot against him. These dramatic allegations briefly overshadowed the focus on Gregory's death. In 2019, a Florida civil court ordered John to pay $25 million to Gregory's family for the wrongful death, but he refused to comply. Here's a clip of Gregory's father talking about his son's loss.
Do you believe that McAfee was involved? You're convinced that McAfee was involved?
Not entirely, but why would he run? Why did he not answer the questions? And if he has nothing to hide, why doesn't he speak? It's very frustrating to find that he gets all the attention and my son's kind of a prop.
Now, John was able to maintain some level of public celebrity after his legal battles. After fleeing Belize and setting into a new life on the run, John found ways to stay in the spotlight. He made money through speaking engagements. He became a YouTube sensation at some point, with videos of women, white powder, guns, the same type of things that we heard that he was doing in Belize.
I mean, it's always there. It's watching. It's been watching me for years. Every time I turn on the computer, it's there looking at me. You know, something went wrong. 15 years ago, I had some beautiful software and they took it over. I don't know what they did. It was like the time I hired that Bangkok to do my taxes while I my accountant. It was terrible.
Clearly, he is a hot mess, which is why I'm not surprised in 2016 he ran as a libertarian candidate for president. However, his criminal activities continued to catch up with him. In late 2018, John learned that the U.S. federal government was investigating him for tax evasion and was preparing to press charges, which now gives him another reason to be on the run.
I have not paid taxes for 8 years. I've made no secret of it. I have not filed returns. Every year I tell the IRS I'm not filing a return. I have no intention of doing so. Come and find me. Not illegal? Today, January 22nd, the IRS has convened a grand jury in the state of Tennessee to charge myself, my wife, Mrs. McAfee, 4 of my campaign workers with unspecified IRS crimes of a felonious nature. Now, they want to silence me. I will not allow that. I am running my campaign in exile on this boat for the duration. I will not allow them to imprison me and shut my voice down, which they will do immediately. Why? I am a flight risk.
Something about that clip is eerily familiar. In 2019, John and his wife Janice realized that they weren't going to be in the White House, so they sailed his boat from Miami to the Caribbean. They made stops in the Bahamas and the Dominican Republic, but their freedom was short-lived. In June 2019, John tweeted out a cryptic warning. If I'm arrested or disappear, 31 terabytes of incriminating data will be released to the press. Despite the warning, they were soon arrested after their boat was found loaded with guns, drugs, cash, and bricks of gold. John used his UK dual citizenship to avoid being sent to the US. Instead, they were deported to Europe. He shared, "I've collected files on corruption in governments. For the first time, I'm naming names and specifics. I'll begin with a corrupt CIA agent and 2 Bahamian officials. Coming today, if I'm arrested or disappear, then he will release this data," yet that did not happen. It took another decade and 2 more presidential bids before John was finally caught in October 2020. At the request of the US government, he was arrested on charges of failing to file taxes for 4 years, despite earning millions from consulting. He is also accused of hiding assets such as yachts and real estate under other people's names. The Justice Department accused him and a business partner of defrauding investors of more than $13 million by promoting fake cryptocurrencies. And really, this was one of John's last runs. His life ended tragically on June 23rd, 2021, while he was incarcerated. He was held in a prison in Spain, and he had been there for about 9 months. The morning of his death, John learned that Spain's high court approved of his extradition to the US, where he faced charges related to tax evasion and fraud. By 6 p.m. that same day, prison workers discovered him hanging in his cell. However, a lot of his associates, including his ex-wife Janice, rejected the narrative, saying that her husband did not take his own life, pointing to a tattoo that John had gotten 2 years before his death. In a tweet, John had explained the tattoo's meaning, saying, "I got a tattoo today just in case if I take my own life. I didn't. I was whacked. Check my right arm." Janice believes that John was drugged and then strangled, noting that she was not allowed to see his body immediately after his death. And when she did, she was kept behind a glass, because at this point there were COVID restrictions, but she interpreted it as a bigger cover-up. And I mean, after being with this man for so long, she's probably a little bit brainwashed, assuming that they are all after her and him. She even goes as far as to say that when he was found in his cell, he still had a heartbeat and was breathing, so they could have saved him.
John McAfee was not. I spoke with him a few hours before he was found dead. We spoke about the court's decision to extradite him to the US. It did not come as a surprise to either of us. We were prepared for that decision and had a plan of action already in place to appeal that decision. I blame the US authorities for this tragedy. Because of these politically motivated charges against him, my husband is now dead. His last words to me were, "I love you and I will call you in the evening." Those words are not words of someone who is.
Now, John's attorney, Nisha, also agrees that this wasn't like him. The timing and the circumstances of his death were highly suspicious. One of John's ex-girlfriends, Samantha, even claimed that John had faked his death and was living in Texas, adding yet another layer of mystery to this story. I mean, if this guy went as far as to hack the government of Belize, I mean, I think he could probably get away with faking his own death.
I got a call from Texas. It's me, John. I paid off people to pretend that I am dead, but I am not dead. And then he asked me to run away with him.
Now, that was the last record we have of John, whether he did die or he faked it. He promised that there would be a lot of information released upon his death, but that never happened. We never got the proof that the Belize government was trying to go after him. We never saw any records that the US did anything at fault or tried to take him down politically. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.